It wasn't some supernatural force, creationist moron.
Okay, Mr. Atheist, if you agree that something can't come from nothing, then who or what caused the Big Bang? In other words, where did the original matter and energy come from that started the Big Bang?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold it, hold everything. This is an equivocation fallacy.
Here we go now. Let's hear this overly narrow and convenient nonsense definition of cause and effect. This nerdy clown, you'll see, drones on and on about supposed, quote, equivocation fallacy. And you'll see that he's either lying or is just sadly and stupidly mistaken, or can't see how it applies generally.
The law of cause and effect has to do with the transition of matter from one state of being to another state of being.
Actually, no. The law of, quote, cause and effect is not just limited to matter-changing state of being or whatever, to try to wiggle out of the problem.
For example, if a carpenter carves a block of wood into a chair, then the effect is that the wood remaining is now in the shape of a chair, and the cause is the carving. The carpenter doesn't magic a chair into existence. He causes the wood to change its state of being.
The cause and effect principle is broad. It's the concept of causality, in which an action or event will produce a certain response to the action in the form of another event. Let me give you some examples. If you were to see a ball bouncing or rolling down the street, you would not think that it started rolling or bouncing all by itself, but that something got that ball rolling. Or if you're in bed asleep and you hear a loud noise in the kitchen area, you don't assume that there was no reason or cause for the loud noise, which is why normal people would generally get up and check to see what caused that loud sound. Because logically and rationally, we just know that the effect, that being the loud sound, must have had a cause to even make that sound happen. It's just action-reaction. If I throw a ball down the street, the action of my throwing the ball causes the effect of the ball bouncing and rolling down the street. It could be argued that in some sense, the matter and material of the ball did change its state in a way, true, but regardless, when he says that cause and effect has nothing to do with causing matter to exist, why exactly would he say that? Because he himself never saw matter being caused to exist, quote, magically, as he puts it, so therefore limits, quote, cause and effect to only things that in his small mind, his small atheist mind, that he has seen or known, such as his, quote, carpenter carving wood into a chair analogy. Why couldn't an outside and supreme carpenter fashion things of the universe? Simply because it's too magical and beyond comprehension to even fathom that? But that doesn't matter, as that would be a, quote, cause and effect situation. Because again, the question is, how did matter even get here? What caused there to be, quote, existence in the first place? What caused there to be matter? The cause and effect principle is broad. That can easily be checked out on Wikipedia or any reference work. There are various applications for, quote, cause and effect, not just limited to the stuff that Mr. Atheist Apologist was constantly spewing out neurotically. It says very clearly that candidates for, quote, cause and effect include objects, processes, properties, variables, facts, and states of affairs. Characterizing the causal relationship can be the subject of much debate, true. But, you know, it does have many applications. You'll find it in physics, engineering, biology, medicine, psychology, economics, business management, law, theology, philosophy, everyday events and circumstances, not just, quote, mass changing from one state of being to another state of being, arf, arf.
Never mind. I've decided I don't totally agree with the law of cause and effect, okay?
No need to do that, because what you two have been talking about hasn't been the law of cause and effect.
Actually, yes, it has, in some sense. Because again, what caused matter to even get here in the first place? No answer? The law of cause and effect is not just about matter changing shape or form or states of being. It's simply about causation in general. It's the concept of causality, in which an action or event will produce a certain response to the action in the form of another event. That's all.
I will never use your bastardized false version of the laws of cause and effect to argue against God.
It was not really a bastardized false version of that law, as there is an application in a sense that should not be dishonestly or conveniently ignored, as do all atheists, with this line of, quote, "The functions of the universe and the solar systems and the earth can be explained by natural processes, so there's no need for a God or a divine eternal being." See, the "we can explain how things operate naturally" argument is a straw man and a category error, because theists do not argue that how the natural world functions cannot be explained by natural processes. The argument is that those processes do not account for themselves or speak to their origin. Just like knowing how cars operate does not mean that Henry Ford did not exist. Not complex enough? What about computers? Even Darwinists have tried to make analogies of Darwinian evolution and mutations with computer functions. The point is that just like knowing how your Windows program operates does not mean that it did not have or need an outside programmer. Cause and effect principle is broad. That can easily be checked out on Wikipedia or any reference work, like I said. Alright. Also, it's been said by atheists that to claim that God did it because we don't know what caused the supposed, quote, Big Bang or whatever, is only a, quote, argument from ignorance. That's what they say. It's not just an argument from ignorance, but an argument from inference and evidence and implication. Also, it's hypocritical because atheists and committed Darwinist drones always argue from ignorance and circular reasoning. Quick to not, quote, allow a divine foot in the door, they presuppose that there was no deliberate direction or an eternal being simply because they don't know and can't test or study this God in a lab. So because this God can't be put in a box or laboratory and therefore cannot be known in that sense, they presuppose that he doesn't exist or is not necessary. In other words, argument from ignorance. See the point? Since they can't put the supreme intelligence in a tube or examine him in that sense, they argue from their own, quote, ignorance that he either does not exist at all, or that there just had to be other ways that the universe, with all its attendant intricacies and complexities, came about. Committed atheists who don't want there to be a God, in many cases, by their own admission, don't want the universe to have come about like that. So they just assume that it didn't, despite the implications for intelligent design and direction. So no, the theist's argument goes a bit beyond a, quote, argument from ignorance, but more so an argument from inference. It can be argued that the existence of an eternal being and creative intelligence and pre-designer can be proven by reason and inference and strong implication. Atheism has no real answer and will arrogantly dismiss the biblical creator and Jehovah or any kind of eternal being as even a possibility, simply because they are ignorant of his workings and appearance in some lab. Argument against God from, quote, ignorance. Also, atheists don't understand the important fact and point that God is not an effect, so would not be caused. So it's not all things have a cause. No, it's all effects that have a cause. The eternal God is not an effect, but is himself eternal energy. As it says in Isaiah, he's dynamic energy. And sustains all energy, and in turn sustains the universe. Not fully understood, of course. But the question again for the atheist is, where did energy, mass, and complex natural laws even come from? Was there a cause for all of that? And if so, logically, what could it be?
You idiot.